Welcome back to Conversation with Buddy. I'm your host, Buddy Puckett. Thank you so much for being here this week and every week. We really appreciate you. Hey, if you do me a favor right now, if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, would you take a moment right now, just hit the subscribe button? Would you give us a thumbs up? And also, would you share it with maybe 10 people you know? The whole goal of this podcast is to share testimonies of people here locally in our community to encourage, impact, and inspire people. So if you'd help us out, that'd be great. Today's verse of the day was a good one, so I want to share it with you real quick before I introduce my guest and friend. Galatians 2:20 says this here.
Oh, no way.
I have been crucified with Christ, and it is no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself up for me. Question is, do you believe that? I do, and I think my guest here does. In fact, you're going to hear more of his story here in a moment. So my guest today is not just a guest. He's actually a longtime friend. I'd say 25 years or so. We've worked together. We've hunted together. We've had many breakfasts together. Probably my only area of confusion is he doesn't drink coffee, so I'm confused by that. But help me welcome Matt Williams. Welcome, Matt.
Good morning, buddy. It is, it's fun to be with you in this way.
Oh, dude. So, yeah, you reminded me as you brought your Pepsi.
Yeah.
You and I used to go out for breakfast a lot.
Yeah.
Back in the early 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
I would drink coffee.
Yes.
Wasn't Starbucks, but I was drinking coffee,
Right.
and you were drinking a soda.
Always.
I remember sometimes the restaurants wouldn't have sodas, so it would be really disappointing. What would you do then? You remember?
Well, do you remember, I heard you mention a few times OPH.
Yeah.
And they now serve soda, but for a long, long time they didn't. So what I would do is I would go to Jack in the Box across the street and grab a soda and bring it over to OPH with me.
Matt Williams, that's funny, dude.
Yeah,
Funny.
I've received a lot of flack over that, over this.
Well, that's good for you, though. You like that.
I'm not going to hide from it. I'm a soda drinker. If you want an iced mocha in the morning, I can have my ice cold Diet Pepsi.
Hey, good point. Good point. Well, you and I are going to unpack a lot of history. We've known each other 25 years or so. Maybe you can help me too on when we first met. So tell me what that looks like.
So I started in the mortgage industry in 1999, and it was almost 1 year in, kind of got recruited by the owner of another mortgage company, and he brought me to the office, showed me around, introduced me to everybody, and that was the first time I met you. And then I started working for him a little time after that, and you and I just started talking all the time.
So we're talking Mortgage West.
Mortgage West.
Steve Parker. Cool. Love that guy.
Uh-huh.
Well, he hired me. I mean, I was a tire guy, and he hired me. And
yeah,
and
you were the
young
Les Schwab guy.
And he hired you. So
I was young and fresh out of the Army.
So how long did we work together? I don't even remember. That's where I don't remember.
We started at Mortgage West, and then we both almost close to the same time moved to Professional Mortgage.
Okay.
And so, and I maintained an office at Professional Mortgage, both while I was a mortgage broker, but then I started an investment company and development company. But I leased an office from Dave.
Yeah.
And so continued to remain in the building until 2007-ish.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
so I've been grinding away for 27 years or more in the mortgage industry. You want to get back in?
No. No, I'm good with what I'm doing.
Dude, the mortgage industry is a grind. I mean, I love it, but yeah, it's a grind.
Well, it was a good experience for me in so many ways.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It's funny. I didn't plan on going this route at all. No offense to real estate agents at all, but in my young days, starting out with you in the Mortgage West days and then the Pro Mortgage days, I was grinding my booty off to try and get the trust and business and relationship with real estate agents who more often than not saw me as some young kid and wouldn't really give me the time of day. And I always said I wish I could have conducted some sort of documented experiment, because ever since when I went off into flipping houses, building houses, developing property, all of a sudden those same agents that wouldn't give me the time of day, all of a sudden, hey, we should get together. Let's go have lunch. I'd love to hear more about your business, and I'd love to work with you. And it's like,
the tables turn a little bit.
You wouldn't talk to me 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, today, just for the audience here, we're going to talk today about success, failure, and our walk with God. That's really what we're going to talk about, because Matt and I have a long history. I'm not a perfect dude. He's not a perfect dude. and probably nobody on the camera is a perfect dude or dudess, whatever you want to call them. But look, we're gonna talk about lots of good stuff, and it's gonna be fun. So Matt, appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Before I dive into the very beginning, probably 7 years ago, you have to figure out the time frame. I got a call late at night from a guy named Matt Williams. And usually when I get a phone call late at night, that means something. So I'm like, should I pick up this call? It really wasn't that. That's why I'd probably ask myself with most people, but I'm like, hey, honey, Matt's calling. That'll be interesting. So do you remember you called me and why you called me?
I actually do not.
Okay. You had dropped Caitlin off at college.
Oh.
It was late at night, and you were feeling pretty lonely? Was that the word?
Lonely, tired, emotional about this new phase of not having my daughter nearby.
Right.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't something bad going on. It was a good thing. You were dropping Caitlin off at college. But you called me, and I really appreciate that because you could have called probably anybody. Why'd you call me?
I don't know. I mean, we could say that God just put it on my heart. You randomly popped into my mind. You always pop into my mind.
I'm not sure if that's good or not.
Well, in our busy lives, we just don't do a good enough job of staying in touch and spending time together and checking in on one another. I'm terrible at that. I hear about men, Charlie Kirk passed away, and all that's come out since then is how he always reached out to everybody to encourage them and check in on them. And I'm like, with his busy schedule, how do you do that? I'm terrible at that. And so it was just one of those moments. It was a long drive, a 20-hour drive.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about you. You had daughters, at some point you surely experienced something similar. And so.
Honestly, I love my daughters, but I raised them to leave the house. So, and my girls know that. I mean, I love them, of course, and I couldn't be more proud. I didn't have to drop my daughters off at college, so that was the difference. I wasn't there by myself doing that. Had I done that, yeah, I'm sure I probably would have been emotional. But the only time my daughters left, Molly got married in 2020, and she moved to Arizona, and so we moved her down there. And then
is she still down there?
No, she moved back after about probably 9 months. Parker had graduated, and and then Emily went to overseas for 6 months. So, we were prepared the whole time, but I get it. We love our daughters.
Well, and we might get into this, we might not, but I think part of what fuels some of those emotions behind my kids is because I went through a period in life, and I imagine we'll get to this, where I really failed my kids for a year or two. And so for the next, 16, 17, 18 years, you're constantly chasing, your kids, trying to be the most incredible dad you can be. And so, I think that fuels some of those emotions too. They're a little bit more on the surface because, you have some regret many years ago.
I don't think any parent's without regret. I mean, as a parent, I'm sure I've done lots of things wrong. I could have done right, but so how do you know that you're right with your kids today?
I feel good about it. I feel real good about it. We talk all the time. Caitlin's in Arizona, living there still. Yeah. And Parker has been in California playing college football, but he got injured, so he's home rehabbing. Yeah. Talon and I stay in touch all the time. Yeah. There's instances where I hear from my kids, particularly my boys, when I wasn't expecting it, and that just makes me just overjoyed. And so and then my youngest, Natalia, we're together.
You're pretty tight,
all
man.
The time. Yeah, we're together everywhere.
That's pretty cool. Well, we're gonna get to all those great stories, but we're gonna go back to the very beginning, man. I want to. Because we're in Kaiser right now. We're at the Rec, used to be Town and Country.
Yeah, a few memories.
I'm sure you have a few memories here.
Yeah.
Take us back to the very beginning. I want to hear about where you grew up. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about your mom and dad. Yeah. I know you have a real love for them.
Yeah.
How they impacted you, and then tell me about your siblings.
Yeah. So I was raised in really the most ideal environment you could possibly find yourself raised in. I had a great mom and dad. I always say that I won the parent lottery with Terry and Debbie. And I was raised in the small community of Kaiser. Kaiser's a little bit different dynamic today than it used to be. It was a very blue collar, all American town. All the kids knew everybody else. All the parents knew everybody else. You played sports with the same kids your entire life. That was my upbringing. It was all America type town. And it was the most incredible environment that a kid really could ask for. I grew up on a street where there was like one or two streets where there was lots of families with lots of kids. This was still the day and age where you'd take off on your bike and you wouldn't see your parents till bedtime, or
dark. Yeah.
So it just was an amazing, really an ideal, picture perfect upbringing. I mean, did we have a lot? No, nobody had a lot, but we were all so happy. And then, mom was a stay-at-home mom until I was 9. And then just because the way finances and the economy was going, she went and started working about the time I was in the 4th grade or so.
Okay.
Dad was a production manager for 7-Up bottling for many years, most of my childhood, up until I got into high school. So, he worked really hard. Really, really hard. A lot of early mornings, a lot of late nights. He was a really, really hard worker, but he coached me in everything. So sports was a very big aspect of our life. I know you have my dad on before, but sports was a big aspect for our life year round, nonstop, all 3 kids. And and I was fortunate for most of those years it was a blessing and a curse, really. To have my dad coaching me. It was great because I got to spend all this time with him. It was also great because every kid in Kaiser worshiped my dad and thought I had the most amazing dad in the world, and that was awesome. But make no mistake, Dad, in his wisdom and in his manner, he was pretty hard on me. And and so there were times, believe it or not, and I regret this now as an adult, but there were times as a kid I wished somebody else was coaching me,
Interesting.
And I would, obviously, if I would go back and smack that young little kid, Matt, and say, you idiot, you're so fortunate and blessed. But there were times I actually resented it a little bit because I felt like I was picked on and, by my dad or opportunities I'd get on all-star teams and travel teams and stuff. And, that's because your dad's a coach. I was like, no, it's because I'm pretty good, So
that's funny.
So I lived with that.
Well, okay. So as you talk about birth order, you're a firstborn.
I'm the oldest.
So talk to me about your siblings. And then, was your dad hard at you at home or just on the court? And basketball was your sport?
No, baseball.
Baseball was your sport?
I mean, baseball, basketball, but baseball.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talk to me about, birth order. You're the firstborn. So
I was the firstborn, and then 11 months later came Joel.
11 months later.
I heard
wow.
That. They got right to work, and this was great though because I had a built-in best friend for life. For life, I had a built-in best friend, and Joel and I did everything together. We played on all the same teams together. We played at home together. He annoyed me a little bit, but generally speaking, I had a built-in best friend for life.
Wow.
So that was really awesome. And then 4 years behind me, 3 years behind Joel came Allison and our little baby sister. It was great. So all 3 of us kids, all very active in sports.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you and Joel competitive? I mean, because you're brothers, hey, you might love him and he's your best pal, but you're also the older brother, competitive. And
it's interesting. Like, we could do a whole podcast on, the sibling thing, but Joel was a little twerp.
Joel?
He's the most amazing Christian man, one of the best soccer coaches in the country now down in California. He's amazing. But man, when he was a kid, he was so high strung and just drove me nuts. And, like all the way back to when I was in the 3rd grade, he was in the 2nd grade. We're on the same basketball team. I had just stolen the ball. This is obviously a traumatic event. It stuck with me 40 years later. And I had just stolen the ball. Fast break. Matt's good. Like the Chariots of Fire music is playing. Things are going in slow motion. And then lo and behold, my little 2nd grade twerp brother, who's on my team, steals it from me and finishes the fast break lay-in and is celebrating like crazy. So it was a series of stories just like that going on. There was another game where we were, I guess I was 12, he was 11, and our pitcher was throwing a no-hitter. And I was a catcher, and so I had caught every inning of the no-hitter, and my dad, who was the head coach, in his infinite wisdom, decided to move me to first base so that our backup catcher could catch the last inning, and they could say he got to be part of a battery, that threw a no-hitter. And that was so important to Dad, was to give that backup catcher that experience, which is part of what makes my dad so amazing. But did I, at 12 years old, see it that way? No, I thought, you are out of your mind. You're going to ruin this pitcher's no-hitter. Why are you sending me out to first base? Well, lo and behold, we get to the last inning. Pitcher's throwing a gem, and there's 2 outs. And the last hitter gets this hit up the first base line. It was kind of actually in the gap between first and second. Gets this hit towards first. And I misplay it. I go to try and scoop it up and toss it back to first to the pitcher who would have been covering. But instead, I missed it. But that's okay. My brother Joel was on second base. And at 11 years old, he made one of the most amazing plays still I've ever seen. He, in almost shallow right field, snags this thing, does a 360 spin, and throws it over to first for to the pitcher who was covering first for the last out of the game, preserve the no-hitter. The whole team's celebrating. They're celebrating the pitcher. They're celebrating my little brother who just made this unbelievable play to save the no-hitter and end the game. And meanwhile, I threw my glove down in the dirt, and I was ticked off because I thought he was upstaging me.
What? How old were you here?
12.
You're 12.
So yeah.
Well, it's a big deal. I get it. What's the lesson though? Looking back? I mean, and when was the last time you and Joel or your dad talked about this event?
This event, we've joked about it a number of times.
What's
over
the
last
lesson?
40
I mean,
years.
there's a lesson here because you're 12 and you're ticked off. Like, Dad, how could you?
Well, it just showed I wanted the attention to be on me, but
rightfully so. You, in some respects, you may have earned the right. You're the starting catcher. So far you finished the eighth inning, and it's a no hitter. Why wouldn't?
Well, I don't know if this answers your question, but it's one thing. It was interesting that literally up until that point, I could not celebrate my little brother's successes, and he had far more successes than I did.
So he's a natural athlete. I mean,
he was a 2-sport college athlete. So he played soccer in college and baseball in college. I mean, he's
that guy. He's the guy that we all want to be.
He was
like.
a 3-sporter. In fact, his senior year, he was the Oregon FCA State Christian Athlete of the Year, male Christian Athlete of the Year. So, like,
no kidding, man.
Yeah. No, Joel's big time, and it wasn't until shortly, 13, 14, I started really enjoying celebrating Joel's successes. But at that age, I was not ready for that.
Wow, that's interesting. God's working in our heart at all time, man. Because I was thinking on my way here, today's a good day. It's a Friday. It's payday. It's just one of those days. It's just a good day. I'm like, Lord, this is really a good day. What do you say when there's just a bad day? Well, God is still good. And I was thinking about that on my way here. God is still good, but he allows the bad days to help us appreciate how good he is. What do you say to that?
You're absolutely right. And I imagine that's something we'll dig a little deeper into. I've heard you say it on this podcast, and I recall you saying it numerous times during the course of our friendship 25 years ago, about how God uses pain, how pain is a good thing, right? And that we are learning much more from pain than we do from success. And that has been very, very, very true in my life. And God, in his grace and mercy and his wisdom, allows pain in our lives. I'm like, dear Lord, please don't let this happen, this thing, whatever it may be. And
God doesn't do things to us, but he allows things to happen really for us. We don't always see it that way. It's kind of like your dad. Hey, Matt, you're going to be over in first. And maybe the lesson there is you might have an issue with Joel. Maybe, we can all have jealous tendencies or envious or keep up with the Joneses. Or you ever heard this saying, comparison is a thief of joy? You ever heard that? And so I think God has to strip us bare naked and reclothe us with his grace and mercy. Is that the lesson? Is that maybe
perhaps?
Part of
keep in mind at that point, I don't think I got saved until around the year 2000. So 25 years ago.
So you've been, okay.
So,
let's talk about that.
Yeah.
When did you start going to church, and how do you know when you got saved, and why would you say that?
Well, with parents like Terry and Debbie, you're raised in the church, and to quote Nate Bargatze, I was raised in to quote Bargatze, I was raised in 1980s Christian family home, which is like the most Christian you could possibly be. So we went to First Baptist Church downtown. I was raised in the church, and but I never really made my faith my own. It was just something we did. We went to church, we did the plays, we did Sunday nights, we did Wednesday nights, we did Awana, we did all those things, but none of this was ever my own. It was just the thing I was supposed to do next. And but yeah, we were real active in church. My parents were very involved. We would do church camps, like family camps where we'd go camping, like at Triangle Lake, or we'd go to Cannon Beach or Rockaway, or all these different things that we would do. My parents played both co-ed, and my dad played men's like softball in the church league with his church team. So it's just my whole childhood, we were inundated with church, First Baptist, all that stuff. And so, yeah.
I think about this question a lot is, it's by grace that we were saved through faith. Where does it come from? I mean, I didn't grow up in church as much as you did. It was more like when I was a senior. Yeah. In fact, when you and I met in 2000, I'd only been a believer for maybe 2 or 3 years. I was 28 when I came to know the Lord. So I grew up in church. I knew the Bible. I didn't know any Bible verses because I wasn't paying attention. You grew up and went to every, church service, Awanas, and yet your eyes weren't fully opened yet to the gospel. That's interesting. So, all right.
Well, and there was a moment, and I don't remember how old my mom would remember, but there was a moment where she had Joel and I sitting out on the front porch, and we both asked Jesus into our hearts. And this, it gets into an interesting area of when and how salvation begins. I don't remember how old I was, but I gotta think I was 4, 5, 6. Maybe I was 6. Joel was 5, but it was a really, really super young age. And, we had that moment where we asked Jesus into our hearts. Now, right or wrong, and there's lots of different ways to look at it, interpret it. My parents and I have talked about it. It's not like it hurts my mom or steals the preciousness of that moment.
Yeah.
But I don't think I was saved then. I don't know if I understood what I was really asking for, what gift I was receiving, with regards to what Christ did on the cross. Yeah. I just don't know that I was able to wrap my head around all that. I mean, it's a sweet, tender moment. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Makes every parent happy, but I don't know that anything really happened there because I just had no interest. I was going through the motions at church just because it was where I had to be, and I was just following orders.
Were you ever resentful having to go to church? Like,
yeah,
I really don't want to go.
Oh, yeah.
This is boring and stupid.
Yeah.
Blah, the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, starting at a pretty young age, I think so. I mean, it wasn't an outward form of expression or rebellion.
Oh, I get it.
Like a darkness of no, I don't want to go. I don't think it was any of that. It was just like, fine, and I just tried to make the most of it, make some friends, have some fun, I mean, we knew a lot of families, knew a lot of kids. So it's not like it was a negative experience. Like, I hated being there, but I would have rather not. And I certainly didn't care about the faith aspect. It was a social thing, if nothing else.
Yeah.
And
probably most kids are that way, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably if they're being honest. Yeah. But I remember, and it's interesting because you had Andy Gaddich on recently.
I did, yeah. I like Andy a lot. Just
and
a
I
good
heard
dude.
You guys talking about do you force your kids? You know, how do you teach them? You had your perspective of how you raised Emily and Molly, and
I beat him
Andy
twice
was
a day.
talking about specific to his sons.
Yeah.
You know, what level of kind of force versus encouragement versus, hey, what do you think? You know, would you like to? And you guys were kind of wrestling with that on the episode, and I was thinking about that as it pertains to my own life, because I remember pretty vividly around the time that I was 14 or 15. I think my parents. And they might remember this differently, but I think they just kind of said, you know what? They threw their hands up in the air and said, go to church, don't go to church. Go to youth group, don't go to youth group. Whatever. You're going to do whatever you're going to do. And so they kind of gave me that option. And so at that point, I was like, great, I won't go to church.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah.
So 15, I'm out.
At least by 15. And I think, I know it tapered off by 14. It was tapering off at 14.
How about Joel and Allison? I want to hear more about Allison, too.
Diehards.
Really? They're...
Joel has been sold out for Christ his entire life. I mean, he has been a
impacts you to
Jesus
this
freak
day.
his whole life. Oh, yeah.
He's that middle child, oftentimes gets lost. Joel doesn't seem to be that guy. No. He's that guy. He's a guy that we are a little jealous of. Joel. We want to be like him in a way. Like, he's the guy that everything works out great. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think, he still has his trials and tribulations, but
of course,
God has blessed him in a certain way. And how about Allison? Tell me about Allison. So she was 4 years younger than Joel.
Mm-hmm. Well, 4 years younger than me, 3 younger than Joel.
Oh, okay. How close are you guys today? And how old are you right now today, Matt?
I'm 49.
You're 49? When do you turn 50?
Next August. So I just turned 49 a little bit ago.
That's right. You're August 19th?
17th.
17th?
Wow, good memory.
Well,
I think you're June.
No, I'm August 29th. Yeah. June, whatever. Yeah. I'm old. It doesn't even matter, though.
So, yeah, we, Allison, we were really close. All three of us kids were really close.
Even today?
No. Today, it's really split up. So Joel's in California. Now, Allie's in Salem, but she's over in West Salem. She's the executive director for Oregon Connections Academy, which is the biggest online school in Oregon. And so she's big time. She's on TV, on the news a lot and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
She's famous.
But, and she's the big boss there now. And so and this is one of the things I was kind of alluding to earlier. We just don't take the time to intentionally stay in touch with one another. And now here's the good news. The upside is when we do see each other, it's like no time's gone by at all.
I think that's cool.
And we know, we know not only from what we share with one another on family group texts and whatnot, but we also know via mom and dad. Mm-hmm. They're kind of the conduit between all three of us now. So we always know what's going on with, I always know what's going on with Allie.
Hey, what if you started group text with all of you today?
We have that.
Okay.
We have that going.
Then what if every morning you no longer say I'm a terrible communicator? Just every morning I commit you. Wow. You don't have to say anything. You're just saying, I'm going to say every morning, hey, mom and dad, brother, sister, I love you guys. Hope you're doing well. Here's a Bible verse. Here's a funny meme or something to just engage every day. To the people that are most important to you, your kids. Like we have, I'm not saying we have it all together. We don't.
Yeah.
But my dad and I text almost every day together. Me and my sister text probably every few days. And then me and my wife and both girls and Parker were on one text. So I guarantee there's probably 10 texts a day that happen every day. Now, I'm a guy, I probably chime in every 9th text, with a smiley face or love you guys. Or anyway, I was challenged with that. I'm challenging you today on the podcast to be the guy. You don't have to talk about it, just be the doer.
I love that. I love that. You bring up my kids too, doing the same thing with them because, I talk to them every few days now, I usually check in with Caitlin about once a week with her down in Arizona.
Yeah.
And we have about a conversation once a week or so. Sometimes it goes 2 weeks. But yeah.
Just a thought. Hey, so you got through, let's talk about your high school days.
I went off the rails in high school.
Off the rails. What are the lessons you learned but you were in sports. So tell me about your high school years. You went off the rails. Was there sports?
I started getting in trouble, and by my sophomore year, was getting in a lot of trouble. a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
I was the black sheep of the family, to say the least. Every form of trouble you could think of. And
Just pause real quick, though. Typically, a firstborn child is really the rule follower and obedient. They may or may not outwardly express it. Maybe inside they're maybe disobedient, but they typically follow all the rules. Is that because of pressure maybe you felt from dad? Like, you know what, screw that. I'm not going to do any of it.
well, it's funny you should say that, because as it relates to my faith, and I don't think this ties to what I was doing in high school, but I will tell you this, that I learned really late in life that trying to emulate Terry Williams, and granted, we should only be trying to emulate Christ, right?
Amen.
But there's certainly other people on earth we might try and pattern our behaviors after, or our business practices or whatever, right? Because we look up to them and admire them. And that's okay. They're not a God. They don't replace Christ, but they're still people we admire.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've always admired my dad, but I had to learn really late in life, I'm not Terry Williams. I'm just not. And but it's funny because that not wanting to follow the rules thing, that still stays with me at this day and age. For instance, when we talk about like where I'm at in my faith and what God calls us to be, all the different things he admonishes us to be and do and follow. And I do those things now because A, it just feels like the right thing to do. And B, I keep coming back to this analogy that God saved my life. Like imagine if I fell out in the street and some guy said, look out, and shoved me out of the way and then got smashed by the truck, right? What would I do? How would I honor that guy for the rest of my life? What would I feel like I owe that guy for literally the rest of my life, let alone if he survived, his injuries and everything? What would I do for him and his family for the rest of my life? And that's the way I see it now. So I don't view my walk now as following a set of rules. I view it as like, look, God saved my life, and he saved me big time, and he's rescued me from some really tough spots so many times that I don't view it as I'm following your rules. I just view it as this is a response to how I feel about what you've done for me.
Well, to your point, when parents create rules, it actually creates rebellion. Like I always tell people, like if my wife made some cookies today, she says, hey, don't eat those. We're saving those for tomorrow for whatever. I'm going to eat one because I rebel. That's just my nature. I don't follow rules. I am not a rule follower. I will break every rule. If you say I can't do it, I'm going to go do it just because. I think that's a tendency we as humans have, some more than others. I'm definitely that guy. And some people can follow rules and probably do it way better than I do. But okay, so today, if somebody says, hey, Matt, you better not do this, and they're saying you got to follow these set of rules, what would you say?
I'm going to struggle with that even as a 49-year-old adult.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will do or not do what I think is correct based on my moral compass, my beliefs, my core values, and all that. But it's not going to be because he told me to.
I know. Okay, got it.
And by the way, let's think about, we don't need to dig into this now, but think about the biblical kind of principle of that. God, Jesus said, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's.
Yeah.
There's multiple times where we're instructed to, follow authority, right? Worldly, civilian, whatever, government authority.
Pay taxes and all that.
Yeah. And, so I maybe at times that kind of nature in me is maybe not following what God really mandates that I do, but it's just kind of who I am.
Hey, I don't think we're that different. I don't think people listening are all that different. I think we have a rebellious side. That's why, raising kids, kind of, my thought process is my dad and mom told me not to do something. I did it and I got grounded. I got punished for a week. That didn't really help me. It didn't. So learning a different way of having my girls think about, okay, hey, what is God's best? The Bible says everything's permissible, but not everything's profitable. Yeah. So you can do the thing, Emily, Molly, or Matt, or Buddy. You can go do whatever you want, but is it profitable? What's that look like from God's perspective? So I think as a parent, what I love doing is asking questions to really get our girls and our kids to think. Yeah. Just because if you actually stop and think about it, it's like, should you drive 100 miles down the freeway in your car? Well, no, but if I'm driving 100, my wife says don't drive 100, I'm probably going to keep going 100. I've done that before, by the way. So, I mean, you see what I'm saying? It's the way you present if you tell somebody to do something or you ask the question, which way are they going to respond best?
It's so funny. I do a lot of sales training. Back when I was in the seminar industry for our closers, but also in our real estate investment company now for our acquisitions team and whatnot. And everything for us goes towards asking the right questions. You can tell somebody something all you want. They're just not, it's not going to be very persuasive. But if you ask a lot of questions and get them to think about what the outcome would be if they chose an alternative route, then they're going to kind of persuade themselves by asking the right questions. And it sounds like that's kind of how the approach that you took with your kids. And whether you knew it intentionally or consciously or not, I mean, that's the best sales training there is out there. So you were talking about high school. Yeah. So I got a lot of trouble in high school, but it was around my kind of halfway through my junior year or in my junior year and senior year, the latter years, I really got back on track. Really, I wasn't living for Christ. It's not like I had a come to Jesus moment, but I did finally just tell myself, I don't like being in this much trouble. I don't like being in this much hot water. I don't like these consequences. And so I started doing better academically, hung out with some better kids.
Like your senior year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you, and you said you didn't do sports in high school?
No, I did at the beginning, but not at the end. By my junior, senior year, I wasn't doing any more sports. What's ironic is 2 years, I went to a couple of years of college, went to a couple of different colleges. I went to Corrigan, which was Western Baptist at the time, and went and said, hey, I want to play baseball, and started playing baseball there. Even after I hadn't played for a few years.
So you have the talent, you just...
yeah.
Okay, what's, thinking back in high school, do you regret not playing baseball, basketball?
Buddy, my life is filled with thousands of regrets, as anybody's is, right? And it is really hard, and I think this is the enemy coming in here.
Yeah.
It is really, really, really hard and challenging to not let the regrets really take a heavy toll. And the other thing that I always am trying to wrap my head around is all those regrets about how I approached high school, whether I or not I would have kept stuck playing sports, all the decisions I made in college, in the Army, in my career, in my relationships, in my marriage, with my family, all those regrets that I have. The funny thing is, God used all of those events to bring me to this point where I'm at right now, and I feel pretty darn good about where I'm at right now. And boy, that'll put your brain in a pretzel, man, because man, I sure wish a lot this thing and this thing and this thing wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But here I am.
Here's the deal. There's a verse. It says, his mercies are new every morning. We all have a past. We all have a history. We all wish, everybody on here wishes they could undo that. And they're not focused on yours. They're focused on their own. And the reason why people do drugs and drink and eat and have addiction is because they're trying to soften the pain that they feel from history. So the goal is, do we live in the past or we just learn from the past? That's the question. Because trust me, getting a DUI at 17, that was me, missing out on scholarships, missing out on, imagine your senior summer not able to drive.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm saying here is...
Junior summer.
Look, we all have a story. I wish I could go back and undo that, but God needed to it wasn't him. He needed to allow pain in my life to humble me, to remove the pride in my life. And, I still have pride. I still have issues. I recognize it. I'm more aware of it. My wife reminds me of it, right? But you know what? You are here where you're here today. And so whatever happened in the past, that's the test and that God allowed us to go through to make you are who you are today.
Yeah, amen.
If you didn't go through that, you couldn't be who you are today. So there's no regret. I mean, okay, there could be some regret, but we're not going to live there,
Yeah.
right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's tough not to live there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so do I regret not playing sports? Yeah.
Okay.
Because I in the latter years of high school, I got into music, and then I was a music major in college, and music became a bigger part of my life. So but do I wish that, because I'm not a big fan of the arts today, but I'm a huge sports guy. So do I wish that I would have just stuck on the sports lane and not veered off into this other lane? Yeah, I wish that,
Sure.
but I didn't, and here, that's fine. I also wish I was 6'7" like my dad. I kind of got hosed in that department too.
Did you? Well, God made you who you are.
That's true.
Did you get hosed? I'm 5'8", man.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. My grandma.
He's just a little guy.
Maybe. My grandma, 4'9", and had 14 kids. But she commanded, God gave her command. It was her prayers that saved a guy like me, right? Yeah. So it's not the size of the man. It's does God live in you? God made you who you are.
Yeah.
So we can't compare ourselves to Terry. Terry wishes he was shorter probably sometimes. Who knows? I don't know. A short guy wants to be tall.
He fit into more cars.
Yeah. We all, it's funny. A lady with straight hair wants curly hair, so she curls it. A lady with curly hair straightens it because she wants straight hair. I mean, it's like we're never content with how God made us. You are who you are, man. God made you exactly the way he wanted to make you. So, okay, you get through high school, going to college, Western Baptist at the time.
No, I went to Mount Hood first.
Oh.
Because I was a musician and I had made this big jazz group called Genesis, which not Phil Collins' Genesis, a different one, but it was pretty big. And we toured all over.
What?
Albums, the whole thing. Oh, yeah. Awards.
You were 19, 20 years old here?
18.
You were 18?
I was 17 when I graduated high school. I was really a year.
You got through high school, man. What was your GPA?
Oh, I don't even remember. I might have cleared 3-point. I don't remember.
Man,
I was not a real good academic student.
I'm pretty sure I got like a 2.5, so hey.
Yeah, it might have been lower. I really don't recall.
Okay, you create this jazz band.
I don't create it, but I had tried out and made it. Yeah.
And what do you play?
No, I was a vocalist in that.
You were? Mm-hmm. That's right, you sang.
I was a singer.
I totally forgot you sang, man.
Yeah.
I've seen you sing before.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So did that, and then got myself thrown out because I beat up one of the other musicians, and really didn't know what to do. And my dad was coaching at Corbin Western Baptist at the time, and I think there was something about his arrangement there that I could go and get free tuition. And Joel was going there. My brother Joel was going there, and so I was like, all right, fine, I'll go there. And I was that was just tough. I was trying to play baseball, but then I was told I was going to be academically ineligible in the spring. I'd play fall ball and then their music department. And I'm sure it's amazing now, Corbin. I'm sure it's so incredible. But at the time, it was not what I was hoping it would be. Yeah. And this is what's really pathetic is instead of being a cog of change and growth in that department, I just said, this is kid stuff. And so that was discouraging. And then the other thing is I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was like, why am I even in college?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a professional musician. One thing with touring with Genesis is I saw musicians all over the country that had 1,000 times more talent than I did, and they were broke. So I was like, okay, so I'm not going to be able to make a living that way. I really don't want to be like a high school music teacher, choir teacher, anything like that. That holds no appeal to me, even though my whole family's in education. That held no appeal to me whatsoever. And so I didn't know what I was going to do. So I ultimately just dropped out. I was like, this is for the birds. Yeah. I'm wasting time. So I dropped out and went into the Army.
That's right.
Yeah.
For 4 years.
No, it was a 3 and 5. It was 3 years active, 5 years in active reserve, and did that. I was in the counter drug or counter narcotics program, and that was a blast. Another separate episode all itself. But yeah, so loved my time in the Army. But what had happened is while I was in the Army, I had met Erica, who was playing basketball. She was college. I'll tell you, my dad becoming a women's college basketball coach when, at the time that I was 17, it was one of the greatest things that could have ever happened to me because it just gave me this new playing field of women to date as a 17, 18, 19-year-old kid. Huh. It was just great. In fact, what's funny, my dad, I know he mentioned this to you on his episode with you. He said we had a family caucus about whether or not he should coach college basketball. And we're all like, Dad, you should do it. You should do it.
Yeah,
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 absolutely.
that's right.
And then he goes, okay, well, I guess that's settled. And we prayed about it and everything. And he's like, well, I guess that's settled. I'm going to do it. But then he looked at me with his finger and he's like, no dating my players.
Oh.
Well, we just talked about rules
Come
5
on,
minutes
man.
ago.
Wrong thing to say,
He
Dad.
might as well have engraved an invitation. Matt, I welcome you to date all of my players, because
Right.
then I wouldn't have. But so yeah. Anyways, I was dating Erica. We got engaged. We got married, and there was one thing we knew. She grew up in a small town.
Yeah.
And very similar to you.
She got from Madras, right?
Yeah, Madras, but I mean, her childhood, she was raised in Fossil and Clarno, that
Yeah,
area, like
yeah,
where
yeah.
we used to
Yeah,
hunt.
yeah.
And
That's right. She was neighbors to Bowerman.
Yeah, that's right. And then they moved into Gateway so that her mom, who had MS, could be closer to medical services and everything. So a suburb of Madras.
Yeah, yeah.
And as if Madras is big enough to have a suburb. But anyway, so she attended high school in Madras and everything. But yeah, so she was from Madras, small town feel.
Yeah.
I was from Kaiser, which was bigger, but still a small town feel, at least at the time that I grew up in. And that was one thing we knew we wanted for our kids. We didn't want to be bouncing around from military post to military post every 2 to 3 years. And I had also seen a lot of really broken, no offense to anybody that's made it work for their family, but I've seen a lot of broken kids and families in the military.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just a rough. And so the end of my first enlistment, that first 3 years was coming up, and we were married at that point. And
What year did you get married?
we got married in 98.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Gotcha.
so in 99.
You were how old in 98? Were you 18, 19, 20?
Our wedding, I think our wedding was like a few days after I turned 22.
Okay. Just for context. Okay, got it.
And so the end of my first enlistment was coming up there in 99. And the whole time we were talking about, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I said, like, look, either I'm going to re-enlist and I'm going to go 25 years, because I loved the Army. Loved it.
Did?
Oh, loved it. For a guy that's so anti-authority, anti-rule, I took to the Army just like this was my second home.
Well, the rules only apply if you agree to them.
Yeah.
There's no rule. You don't have to, but if you want to, this is what you're going to do.
No, I loved it. I loved what I was doing. I loved it. But I said, look, I'm either going to do the full 25 or I'm going to get out now. What's the point in enlisting for another 3, 4, or 5 years? Now I'm going to be 27, 28, 29 years old, and I'll be in the same exact position I am right here at 22, 23.
Yeah.
So, or 22. So what's the point of doing another 4-year enlistment if I'm not going to go the whole career?
Right.
So we knew that the career was off the table because of how and where we wanted to raise a family someday, even though we didn't have kids yet. But so I started applying at law enforcement agencies because I was in law enforcement in the Army. So I had applied all over Oregon and Washington, but mostly Oregon. Was really excited about OSP and Washington County Sheriff's Office, Clackamas County Sheriff's Office. And finally had gotten hired with Clackamas County Sheriff's Office.
Wow.
And then literally right before I was supposed to start, ran into a guy that offered me a job as a loan officer. And it's funny.
Police officer to loan officer.
And keep in mind, I still wasn't saved yet, right? So it's not like I was praying about any of this, But I went to his mortgage office, and I remember looking around at the cars outside in the parking lot. And then I was looking at what people were wearing and just seeing all the activity and the buzz of their loan officers. And I remember asking the branch manager, I said, hey, so what's your highest top performer make here? And he kind of looked back at his team out of his office, and I don't remember what he said at the time, but keep in mind, this is late 90s. And I think he said around 300 or so. Maybe he said 350, but it was a number that made my jaw hit the desk. And I was like, oh my gosh. I go, okay, what's your lowest performing person make? And he said, like 60 a year, 60 grand or so. And Clackamas County was going to start me out at 36 grand a year.
60? That's a pay raise.
So I was like, let me get this straight. I could be the worst performing loan officer you have and make close to double what I'd make in law enforcement. Yeah. Sign me up.
Done.
And I never looked back because I never had an entrepreneurial bone in my body before that. Never a sales bone, or so I thought.
Yeah. You're a firstborn.
I even told him
like that.
I even told him in the interview, I don't even know how to spell the word mortgage. I think there's a T in there, right? Mort. Gage? You know,
That's my line. I always say I'm a Les Schwab guy. I didn't even know how to spell mortgage, but yeah, you and I are. Well, we got it in the same time, really.
Yeah,
I mean, I
we
may
did.
have been a year ahead of you, but
Yeah.
same idea.
So yeah.
Okay, so you get in the business. You and Erica get married.
Yeah.
You have kids. So
Yeah.
let's walk through the kids' journey.
Yeah.
What's it mean to be a dad?
Oh my gosh.
Talk about from the early days to, and then where they're all three at today and how they're doing.
Well, so Eric and I got divorced.
Okay, what year was that?
She was, of course he'd ask me that. 2007, 8.
2008. So you guys were married for about
2008.
7 or 8.
10 years.
Oh, 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. 10 years. Got it.
And I just, for anybody watching, I could be off on the dates by 5 months, 6 months here and there. Turned to a life of debauchery shortly after that, and so there, it's all a little hazy there for a year or so.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring that up and skip to that is because she was pregnant with Talon when we kind of separated, and then right around the time of divorce, Talon was born.
Yeah.
So. But before, when it was Caitlin first, and all those, few years with just Caitlin, and then Parker comes along. I mean, my kids were everything, and I knew, and at this point, I had gotten saved already, right? Yeah, thanks to you, by the way.
I didn't.
You were a big part of it. I know. I was shocked when you said you didn't know that. I was like, how can he not remember that? Because I remember talking you through this on all of our breakfasts, and then we landed on a home church. We landed at Dayspring, and then ultimately transferred to Salem Heights. But I remember going through this whole process with you, saying, "Dude, it's time." But anyways, so yeah, my kids were just everything. I mean, when Caitlin was my best little friend for the first 3 years, and then when Parker came, that was the one time I just cried. It was amazing. He comes out and I'm holding him or looking at him. I don't remember if I'm holding him or Erica's holding him, but he's right there, 6 inches, and I'm bawling. I'm like, I got you, son. I got you, man. And
changed your life, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then man, I tell you, I really turned away from God, and the economy crashed, 2008.
I don't remember that. No, I don't have any recollection of 08.
Oh, man. I mean, my business was failing and the economy was crashing and we had nothing. And I just completely imploded. And then back to alcohol and everything else. And oh, man, it's painful to say. I went a good solid year, almost 2, without being a very good father. And that's tough to look back on because I love my kids. Anybody that knows me now and knows what follows what I do and what I'm about.
Well, hopefully, we're talking about pain. Hopefully that pain of remembering, I sucked as a parent. We all have moments of seasons of being a sucky parent, maybe working too much. We fall off the wagon or whatever. Life happens. But, I think there's redemption in the story because God, His mercies are new every day, and we lived a redeemed life. And so that's just my thoughts for you, for me, for anybody listening. Yep. Yeah, it's a bummer. It happened. But you know what? Not today.
Well, it's impacted me and shaped me as a dad now with Natalia. I'm a better parent now with my youngest because of, I guess, the pain, that will always kind of be there, the scar tissue, if you will, of that time where I was not engaged as a parent as I'm supposed to be and called to be and want to be now. And that's tough, man. That's really, really tough. And so, but my kids are my life. And fortunately, Caitlin, Parker, and Talon all know that. And Natalia, obviously. But they know that now. But, I had to earn their trust back.
Question. Do your kids know Christ personally?
Yes.
And again, it's not really for you and I to decide if they do or don't. Only God really knows, but what's your thoughts?
So Caitlin, for sure. I mean, she started taking her faith pretty serious at a young age, got baptized in middle school at Salem Heights.
No kidding.
And in fact, was it Carl Chica that baptized her maybe?
Okay,
I don't remember who baptized. Actually, it might not have been, but I know he was there that night. But and so, she got baptized, and started living for the Lord. It was hard growing up too in high school because there were times she was making decisions that other kids weren't making, and she was making good decisions. And she felt like an outcast at times because of it. And sorry, Caitlin, if I'm sharing stuff I'm not supposed to.
Well, I mean, it's all true. I mean, if you're gonna live for Christ, you're gonna be hated by the world. It's just.
But she ended up going to GCU, Grand Canyon University. Wanted to go to a Christian school, but there was some things she wanted to do career-wise, and GCU offered a big school environment, a Christian school environment, and the degree fields she wanted to pursue. And then she graduated from GCU, and she's a police officer now.
Dude, the picture, when I saw those pictures, man, I'm like...
Could you believe it?
Oh, I can believe. I mean, wow.
She's hardcore, man.
She's tough.
Oh, she's tough.
I mean, she has a tough mom and dad. I mean, both of you are tough, in your own ways, but, she's going to be fantastic at what she does. I can see it.
Yeah.
Literally.
She's got a great temperament for it. And I never, in her teen years, would have seen that coming. I would have thought she was a little emotionally soft. She's so sweet and tender and all this stuff. But the reason I say she has the right temperament for it is she just has this ability to not get high and not get low and just stay right in the middle. And somebody, like she was just telling me the other day, she tells me all kinds of stories, which as a father, it's like, about a prisoner, a person they had taken into custody. They had slipped their cuffs and Caitlin, in pursuit of that person, they went through a door. That door slammed shut, and her partner couldn't get to her. So it's just her and this prisoner just fighting on the ground. And she got her back in custody, which was awesome. She's made other arrests at gunpoint and the whole thing. And,
man, I got chills, dude.
She's just out there doing it, but she just doesn't really get real high, low. Yeah. And so she's got a great temperament. She's physically strong. She takes very good care of herself physically. And
I bet you find yourself praying for her a lot.
All the time. And Natalia does too.
Dear Lord.
Every night.
Lord.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
It was tough because there was another female officer that's been on duty as long as Caitlin's been on duty down in California. And she was just killed in the line of duty. And, she even looks like Caitlin. And she was from Oregon originally. And, the similarities in age and profile and background and where they're from and all these things, it's just hit a little too close to home. But, look, God's in control. Number one, I believe in his supernatural ability to keep her safe. But if something does befall her, I know I say this now. I talk a big game now. But whatever happens, I know God's right now in control, but more than anything, I believe in the abilities he's given her and blessed her with. And then I believe in his supernatural ability to keep her safe. So,
how about Parker?
Parker's in college. He's playing college football. So Parker had a tough journey. He was a big time football prospect. You know, he was the MVP of the Les Schwab Bowl, the Oregon All-Star game. He was ranked as one of the top 50 players in Oregon, constantly getting a lot of attention, and played on a travel 7-on-7 squad in the off season that traveled all over the country and played against all the best players going to every school you've heard of, Notre Dame and Alabama and USC and Oregon and, all that stuff and so he proved himself against the nation's best competition. He just was on a great path. And then his senior year, in the fifth game of his senior year, tore his ACL and meniscus, and that was it. No more recruiting, no more film, no more special moments. I mean, his team was undefeated. They were having a special season, and that really wrecked him. But he went through a long, excruciating rehab and decided, because, he wanted to play at a really high level of football. Division I was kind of his hope. And so there was the best path to that was going to be going the JC route down in California. And so Butte wanted him pretty bad. And so he went down to Butte. He continued his rehab last year, and then started playing spring ball, playing through the summer. Like, he's on cloud nine. His time is back. Here he is. And then first college game down at Butte, first half, he's playing beautifully. He's doing fine. And then basically the first snap of the third quarter, right out of halftime, he folds like a house of cards, tore his ACL in the other knee. So Parker just had his surgery a few weeks ago. He's rehabbing, and we went with an organization, a facility up in Portland called Roke, ROKKE. They're big time, big time, and like they don't take insurance or anything. So we're going all in.
Turn your mic up.
Yeah. So we're going all in on this, because I told Parker, if we're going to go this route for your rehab and your training and everything, and we're going out of pocket on this, that's because you want to give football one more try. And by the way, I don't care whether you want to give football one more try or not. If you don't, that's cool.
Yeah.
But we just might not go this really expensive route, but he's like, no, so he's literally pushing his chips all in, saying, I want to give this one more try. I'm not ready to give up on this.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing. And he's rehabbing.
Does that motivate you to support him?
Oh, yeah. Parker motivates me all the time. I mean, the kid's discipline, his ability to stay focused on what it is that he wants is amazing. Now, back to your question on the kids, do they know Christ? Yeah, last year, I mean, Parker was raised in the church, same thing. I know he was I believe he was a believer, but he finally, a year and a half ago, yeah, I think it's been a year and a half, he started doing a Bible study with other football players from all over Salem. What? Yeah. And then on his own, without telling Erica and I, he's just decided to get baptized and make his commitment firm and public and make that declaration. I'm going to live for Christ. Yeah, without running it by any of us, telling us. We didn't even know.
It's his decision, man.
So, yeah. and he's still a college football player. Probably uses some language I wouldn't love. But so do I, probably. But yeah, he lets people know he's a believer. And,
okay.
And I truly believe that he is saved.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course.
How's Talon doing?
So Talon, the Lord is pursuing Talon hardcore. And we've talked about this a few times. The Lord is after Talon.
Man.
He is after Talon. And we've had a lot of good talks. Talon's working through that in his own way.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of him, because he's made a lot of really difficult decisions to put himself in a good place right now, and I'm really proud of him. Really, really proud of him.
For a young guy like that, he's an athlete too, man. He loves,
he's a stud, and he's playing football right now.
Yeah, is football his number one sport?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. Talon was a young man like you and I.
Yeah.
And, good decision, bad decision. We've all made them. And, God pursued me in really times I can look back and see it now. I couldn't see it then. He was pursuing you. He's pursuing Talon.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I believe God's pursuing everybody. God doesn't wish that anyone would perish without knowing him, right? That includes Talon.
Well, and I've spoken with Talon about that. I know that God is after him because I've been on the other side of that when God was after me. And that's why when I look back at my own life, that's, both before I came to know Christ and then even when I when I turned away from him, God either intentionally got my attention or allowed things to be used to get my attention. But, however you want to phrase that, God got my attention.
Yeah.
And so I know when things are going really bad and you're not getting away with anything and nothing's working out, that's because God is after you. He's trying to say, would you listen to me? I've got something bigger planned for you. And I know that's exactly what Talon's experiencing. And I've shared that with him. He acknowledges, he's probably right. Yeah.
Just like your dad did with you, my dad did with me, like God does with each one of us too. I mean, he does. He pursues us and he loves us. It's pretty amazing. Natalia. Yeah. Tell me about Natalia. I've met her a couple times. She's sweet. I mean, just pure that. Was she 7 or 8?
She's 8 now. She's in the 2nd grade. She's 8. She's kind of an old 2nd grader. She had a September birthday.
She has dad to pal around with all the time.
Oh, yeah. We are doing
Where's Natalia in her faith? I mean, as a 7 or 8, an 8-year-old.
She wants to be baptized right now.
Like,
she
I'm all
is
in,
on
Dad.
fire for God.
Really?
Oh my gosh, man. It's amazing. She is so on fire for God. She sings worship songs everywhere she walks and goes, and in the car and in the house. And she's just got a heart for God. She always wants to do the right thing. She always wants to tell the truth. if she ever feels like she slipped up in any way, she wants to come up clean with that. And more often than not, when she's like, Daddy, can we talk for a second? It's about something so hilarious, buddy. Like you're trying to keep a straight face. Like, this really isn't bad, but okay, I appreciate you sharing it with me. Obviously, it was
Daddy,
on her
I ate the
heart.
cookie. And,
Yeah. So she's just like, look, nobody's perfect. Nobody, and everybody thinks their kids are amazing, but she is tender, sweet, pure, funny. She's the whole package, and she is on fire for God. I'm holding off on the baptism thing for a while because I want her to be a bit older and really know what she's working through on that. It'd be interesting to know your take on that, but I've been trying to kind of put that off until I feel like she's just a bit older. But yeah, I mean, like she closes every prayer every day, not out of a sense of routine. I mean, it's authentic, it's not like rehearsed. It's not habit, but she closes every prayer after she's prayed for life and her daddy or her brothers and sister.
Question for you.
Yeah. Whose
Whose daughter is she?
God's.
Yeah, that's the way I look at my daughters too. They're just on loan to me, and you said she's an old soul.
Yeah, she is.
I mean, and here's the deal: if God's called her through His grace and mercy to give her life publicly, she's already privately gave her heart to the Lord. As an 8-year-old, I don't know. I didn't, but is it possible? Yes. And she's like, "Hey, Dad, I want to get baptized." I mean, how would you walk her through Scripture? Go, okay, let's walk through Scripture and go, this is what it means to be baptized. Does that make sense? And is it possible she could actually comprehend that? Yes or no? And is it right?
Two things to that. I think she could. I mean, like she's even got a sleepover at a friend's tonight. Second time I've ever let her do that. But it's talent senior night tonight, so I let it happen. But and what'd she pack amongst her clothes and her toothbrush? She packed her Bible. Yeah. So I mean, like,
come on, bro.
This girl. Yeah. So would she engage in that conversation? Would she understand it? I think so. But here's where the scar tissue comes in. Of past experience and how we struggle as parents to not bring our own baggage to parenting and to our kids. I got baptized, I think, at 8 years old. She's 8 years old.
Did you choose to be baptized? Or did your mom just say, hey?
No, I was asked, do you want to be baptized? And I was like, sure.
Okay. And
did the thing. I remember it to this day.
Okay.
I remember the church. I remember the tub. I remember the pastor. His name was Pastor King, who he's since passed away. But, I remember every detail of it. But what did it do? I don't know, because I don't think God literally came in fully. I want to be careful here. I didn't acknowledge God as my savior till later in life.
Okay,
truly.
so question, did you have head knowledge, but it hadn't traveled to your heart yet?
Yeah.
That's a question for you. And is it fair? I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong as a parent, but if Natalia's saying, Dad, I want to be baptized. You didn't ask me.
Right.
I'm asking. Again, I'm not here to tell you anything. You pray through this, but you tell me that God says, yeah, Matt, you better not let her do that. That would be, because are you trying to impose on her what your experience was, which may be different for her? It's just a question.
I don't know, and I'll keep praying about it, and have been, but I just want her to be just fully aware of exactly what she's saying, what she's doing, what she's demonstrating, what this act means. And I just still think for any 8-year-old, not my 8-year-old, any child, there's still an aspect to this that runs much deeper than they're able to comprehend.
It's interesting. So I think Molly was 8 or 9 or 10, maybe. Emily was a couple years older. Molly came to us first and said, hey, Dad, Mom, I'm ready. Oh, okay. We walked through the scriptures. Church at Salem Heights had, probably some classes to go through to make sure they fully got it. Yeah. And she got baptized. I was lucky enough to be able to baptize her. And then probably a year later, it was like, yeah, I'm ready too. I think all kids, I was 28. So just so you know, I get saved and like, yeah, I want to get baptized.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Again, I think if you pray with Natalia, walk her through the scriptures, and I think God will walk you both through. Let's make the decision together,
Yeah,
Natalia.
that's a great
It's
point.
not you against her. You're like, hey, let's pray about this and let's agree together to do this.
I love that. I love that.
I mean, you're going to honor God. You're going to honor her. It's her wish. It's her life. Raise up a child in the way they should go, the way that God has ordained them to go.
Yeah.
She's on loan to you. She's still God. So I'm just proposing a question or a challenge to you.
Yeah.
Will you pray with her, hold her hand, walk through the scriptures, and see what God would have you do?
100% I will.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean,
I appreciate that too.
I get your response as a parent, but sometimes, the parent is do as I say, not as I do. We apply some of our own experience, but God wants her to have an experience with him and it could be different. So,
Yeah. So that's the kids.
brother, this is good. We're going to transition because we're going to wrap up here in a few. I want to hear what Matt's doing today. You make money, you work for a company, and give me, you don't have to do a long exhortation, but I love real estate. I love what you're doing. And then I know you have a few things you want to talk about.
I do.
Okay.
I told you, I wanted to share some buddy stories if we had a moment.
And I don't know what the buddy stories are, so I can't wait to hear
I
them.
did
I'm
not
sure they're going to be
run
really
them by you ahead
funny.
of time.
Laughs on me.
Well, one of them I heard you talking about on a different episode once before. So,
Okay.
Yeah, one of them you'll understand.
I love to make fun of me. It's the best thing I can do, man.
So, I'm the COO for Legacy Offer. It's a real estate investment firm out of Seattle. And that's a biggie. So, 2008, and then around 2010, started to get life back together again. Got into the real estate seminar space, and then I was a public speaker for about 10 years, 11 years almost, and traveled the country speaking on real estate all over. It was an unbelievable and at times surreal experience. It was really amazing. The hard part of it was I was on the road a lot. There were years where I was on the road 200 days a year.
Wow.
So I was traveling
For 10 years.
Yeah.
Holy crap, dude.
Yeah. Well, I got all the perks and benefits and everything else. You're flying first class. Like the human ego side of me really loved it. The whole thing.
I don't know what you mean.
And I loved every part of it. I loved hotel lobbies. I loved airports. I loved the planes. I loved my team. I loved being on stage and a crowd in front of me. Like I loved every single aspect of the entire journey and missed that life quite a bit, actually. But as Natalia was born, a couple of things. Natalia was born, and I really needed to be home for her. And then, but COVID hit as well. And so that kind of forced your hand. I still did some virtual speaking there for a while. And then I did a couple live events in New York and Chicago, but there just wasn't a lot of work to be had on the seminar space coming out of COVID for a while. And even when there was, like I've gotten a number, I don't want to say gazillion, but a large number of offers in the last 3 years or so. But I got to be home, you know? And so a guy who named Pat Precourt, not a believer, sure would be an unbelievable, powerful asset to God if he was. But but Pat is a speaker and kind of an influencer. He's written books. He speaks all over and everything. He's a big deal. But he introduced me to the CEO, Victor, the CEO of Legacy, and said, you want to remain in the real estate space. He needs a great operator, a COO, and so that was a great match. Now that means I go up to Seattle 2 days a week. Stay up there one night a week and then work from home the rest of the week. But
how cool is that?
Oh yeah. No, and we've got a great team. We're doing big things. We're definitely in the upper echelon, if I may say so. Victor is much more humble than I am. I don't know that he'd enjoy it, but we're in the upper echelon of the industry nationwide. It's really great. I really.
So what do you do? What exactly do you do?
Well, we buy and sell properties.
Okay, residential or commercial or both?
Mostly all residential, rarely multifamily, but almost all single family.
No kidding.
Yeah. And we buy them and do nothing to them. We assign them. We fix and flip them. We keep some as rentals. We do everything. And we do it nationwide. But our bread and butter is Western Washington.
That's so cool. How do we learn from you on how to do that with you, or do we do it with you? How do we? What's that look like? How do we?
It's funny. I haven't launched anything anymore in the, in the seminar space. I was kind of in the education space, but I was a 3-day speaker, right?
Right.
But I haven't launched like anything on my own. Now, that being said, I post regularly to Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff.
Okay, so you have an
our
Instagram
deals.
page that we can
Oh, yeah.
go learn.
For real estate, it's Matt Williams, REI.
What's the profit or ROI that you're looking for when you guys flip a property? You guys have a number?
So before I came, I don't know if I'm allowed to say these metrics. I think I am. In 2023, before he brought me on, or I was coming on, I was being onboarded right at the end of 23.
Yeah.
And our average profit margin per deal in 2023 was $29,000 and change.
Okay.
We instituted some changes, how we were underwriting, viewing deals, and how we were operating. And then in 2024, we averaged $44,000 per deal.
I like that.
This year, we're averaging over 50 per deal.
I like that too.
So,
okay.
yeah,
That gives me an idea.
We're doing well. And we've got a big team. We've got a marketing team, an acquisitions team. We've got our front end appointment setters, and then we've got our direct acquisitions team. We've got our transactions team, our dispositions team.
Are you looking for people to hire?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Particularly in acquisitions. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right now. We just hired a new transaction coordinator, and so we kind of feel good about the state of our transactions team right now. The next one is we got to go back to hiring more in the acquisitions.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and we really want to do that.
Be fun to talk to you about. Okay, you're going to end on funny stories, and we're going to wrap up. So,
hey, at the beginning of this video, you were saying the verse of the day. Did you hear me chuckle in your headset?
Oh yeah, dude.
Okay. I came fully prepared for you to ask, because I've heard you ask like all your guests, like what their favorite verse is or something that really means it. It's Galatians 2:20. I'm not kidding you.
What?
I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live the life I live in the body. I now live in the faith in the Son of God, or the Son of God who loved me and gave himself up for me.
Are you?
Yeah.
I swear, dude.
I was prepared. Like, look at my social media. It all says Galatians 2:20.
I didn't look at it.
Yeah.
It literally was the verse of the day today on the Bible
So
app.
when you said that, that's why I started chuckling. I was like,
oh my God.
I was like, well, might have to come up with a different one if he asked me.
No, Galatians 2:20.
That's the one, man. Your verse of the day is my verse, my theme verse.
I swear, dude. That's a God thing.
I mean, there's a lot of other things like, I was just like, Job really resonates with me because of his struggles and my constant back and forth struggles. And Job, when he said that, he heard with his ears, but what was it? He heard with his ears, but didn't see with his, didn't see with his eyes or something like that. And, you mentioned that, like when you're raised in the Christian family, in the church, I know all this stuff. It doesn't mean it means anything to me. And so,
if it doesn't travel down to the heart, man, knowledge isn't salvation for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So some buddy stories?
Story time. Here we go.
Okay. I'm going to try and make this fast. I know we got to wrap up. First one is the one you started telling a couple episodes ago when you had my dad on the phone. Okay.
I think I know
now,
that one.
Remind me, Molly's the older one?
No, Emily's older.
Emily's older, Molly's younger. Emily was 4 and Molly was 2.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
okay. Molly's still in diapers, basically, isn't she?
No, she's still in diapers.
She's still in diapers. And so you and I were getting together to have breakfast. I'd come over to meet you at your house. Yep. And your wife was out of town. I don't know where she was at.
Yeah.
But your wife was out of town. So it was just you and the girls. You were single dadding it for a weekend or something like that.
It was rough. A week.
1
week.
And so I show up to meet you at your house, and we're going to go have breakfast. And the girls are there. They're both sitting in the breakfast nook having breakfast, finishing breakfast themselves. And so we're like, you look at me, and you're like, all right, you ready to go? And I was like, yeah, I guess. And you're like, all right, so Emily, just take really good care of Molly. Make sure and change her diapers if she needs it, and clean up the table when you're done. and meanwhile, I'm just stunned. I'm absolutely stunned, and I'm like, what on earth is going on here right now? And then after giving the instruction, and you go and you give them a hug and a kiss, and you're like, all right, girls, well, Daddy will see you later, okay? And they're like, bye, Daddy.
We planned that all out,
Molly
man.
can barely even speak, And we start walking to the front door, and I'm like, and you literally are going to the front door, like grabbing the knob. I'm like, what are you doing? You're like, what?
What's the problem,
go to
man?
breakfast. And I'm like, we can't leave them here. And I didn't have kids yet, but I knew this was wrong. And you're like, buddy, we cannot leave yet. This is ridiculous. What's the problem? I do it all the time. They'll be fine. They can take care of themselves, and we'll be back in a while.
We planned that out so good for you, man.
And then finally, like you mentioned before, finally then a babysitter does show up. I had our heart attack. God. This guy is out of his mind.
Funniest day ever. I still tell that story from time to time. It makes me laugh really hard. I mean, when Molly and Emily are 2 and 4 and they're going along with Dad, like, hey, let's play a joke on Matt. Yeah, Daddy, let's do this. It's hilarious, dude.
2 and 4, they're already pranking me.
Oh, yeah.
If Molly and Emily ever see this, and they might not, but if they do, you get.
Oh, they will. I promise you, they'll watch it.
So the second one is we go hunting.
Yeah, I remember.
Now, you were raised on hunting, right? Like, this is not a new thing for you, but you hadn't been in a while, as I recall,
I don't know.
at the time.
Born and raised.
And so we had a hunting camp, on my wife's side of the ex-wife's side of the family that we went with every year. And and I had told you, a couple of years in a row how great it was. And so finally we were like, why don't you come with me? You put in, get your deer tag, and because we had to put in for tags and come with me. And I was thrilled because I was kind of always the outsider in that group anyways. And so I was going to have one of my really good friends with me and share this awesome experience because the whole thing, the scenery, the hike, there's no vehicles allowed in there. So it's all on foot or horseback. And, and you recall, we go all out on this thing. It's diehard.
I'll never forget.
And so we hiked up to a place called The Point, and you get up there in the dark. And so the whole plan was, look, there's all these farmer fields. We're in the mountains, but there's all these farmers' fields all over the place along the John Day River and everything. And what happens is the deer bed down there, and they stay down there all night, but then they come up through all the canyons and draws and everything in the morning. So the idea is to get up there before sunrise and then just start watching the deer come in and figuring out what your game plan is going to be, because there's also no vegetation or very little vegetation out there. So you're glassing and you're looking sometimes miles away. And sure enough, everything in. So that's what you and I do. We go to The Point. Sure enough, right as we predicted.
Well, and just pause there for a moment. We got to change our shirts because we're soaking wet.
Oh, well, yeah.
So
that's part of it. Yeah, that's part of it. I skipped that part. But yeah, I always bring, and I hopefully advised you, or you already knew.
You did.
Bring a change of clothes because you get up there. It is freezing at this point.
Yeah.
Right. And so you get up there in your sweaty clothes. If you stay in them, you're going to die. So you get your sweaty stuff off, put your dry stuff on.
Yep.
So we did that, and sure enough, the deer come walking up the canyons. We make our little plan, and they weren't coming directly to us. So we said, oh, sorry there, Camden. We said, we're going to work back down this side of the ridge and come up, and if we crest that draw at the right time, we should see them. And that's exactly what we do. We go down, up, and up this other draw and over this other ridge. Sure as heck, there it is. A great, nice buck right there, and several other does or something following right behind. And don't know if you can see this. I'm about 6 feet or 8 feet in front of you, maybe. And we see it immediately. I mean, it all happens so fast. But I remember we crest this ridge. There's the buck. I'm like, it's all yours, buddy. And I feel like I'm going to get out of your way or something. Yeah. But as I look over my shoulder, you're already down in a kneeled position, drawing down on that. And I no sooner had I said, wait, no, buddy, no. Boom. And you dropped that buck. But my head was about 6 feet in front of your muzzle. And my ears were ringing. And no sooner had I just gotten, wait, no, buddy, no. Boom.
That's not how I remember it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, last Buddy story. Buddy, at the time we first met, you were already a very successful mortgage broker, and we're making I don't want to get into personal details, but very good money. And far more money than the average Joe, for sure. And you were driving this piece of crap Honda Accord that was so old and rickety and barely running and moving, and the paint job was awful. I mean, it was bad. And none of us could understand why a guy that did as well as you was still driving this piece of garbage. And you were just being fiscally responsible, Mr. Dave Ramsey and everything else. And you used to joke for a long period of time that you would drive it and, hey, I'm driving it till it burns to the ground.
Yep.
Then there came a day where and you might remember, and this is when we were working at Pro Mortgage, I think at this point now, there was in fact, I know we were at Pro Mortgage at this point. There was, you remember back in the day when all of your loan docs, your signed and notarized docs and everything, you'd pick them up at the title company and you'd take them up to Lender Row where all the lenders were in Lake Oswego, right? And, well, you would only do that if a courier wasn't available and they needed to get up there immediately. Well, sure enough, I had one of those days, a morning, where I had to get some loan docs up to Lake Oswego immediately. And I remember asking you and a few of our other buddies, like, hey, I'm going up to Lake O. You got anything that needs to go up? No, and you must have remembered that because you called me later, and I'll tell you why in a second. But I had asked you, like, do you need anything? Do you have anything? And you had told me, I do have something that needs to go up, but it's not ready yet. Oh, darn it. I go, well, buddy, I got to go. I can't wait. All right, man, see you later. So I drive up to Lake O, drop my docs off. For some reason, and I don't remember why, traffic, change of scenery, I don't remember. I took 99, the back way from Lake Oswego, kind of through West Lynn and then through like back behind Canby and that area, right? I took 99 all the way back down to Salem. It was just a leisurely drive back. And about the time that I'm between, say, Aurora and Woodburn, I get a call and it's my friend Buddy. And I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And you're like, hey, where are you? You had to go to Lake Oswego, didn't you? Yeah, I'm on my way back to Salem. Really? No kidding? Yeah. Okay, because my car just broke down and I was on my way up and I was wondering if you could come and get me because I don't think it's not starting back up. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I can do that. No problem. And while we're still on the phone, you're like, oh, man. I go, what? Well, my car, it's smoking pretty bad now. Holy moly, the paint is melting off the hood. Holy moly, I think I see flames. And I'm like, buddy, get out of your car. Get out of your car and call 911 right now. Or you might have said, I got to get out of my car. I don't remember if it was instruction or you saying this is what I got to do. But the bottom line is we hung up and I said, look, I'm on 99. I'm almost to Woodburn. I'll hit Woodburn, jump over to I-5 and come back up I-5 for you. Because you were north of Woodburn. Yes. And so I drive into Woodburn. I'm cutting, towards the I-5. And about that time, a whole slew of emergency vehicles of like fire trucks and maybe a police car too, but like multiple fire trucks all get in front of me. And they're heading towards I-5. And I'm sitting here thinking, I know where they're going.
Same place I'm going.
And then as we get onto the on-ramp to head on I-5 north, all of I-5's at a dead stop. Fast. 3 lanes, stopped, it's done. And you can barely see a thing of smoke, a plume of smoke on the horizon. Well, the emergency vehicles all get in the shoulder and go busting up the shoulder to whatever this emergency was. And I'm sitting here knowing that I'm going the same place they're going. I get in the shoulder and follow them all the way up there too. and I follow them all the way up to the shoulder until, sure enough, there is a car fully engulfed in flames, your car, and there's Buddy standing about 20 feet, 30 feet behind it with two of the two most important things you could think of, evidently, your loan file and your golf clubs.
Amen. Amen.
The 2 things you rescued from the car, your loan file and your golf clubs. And so you hop in the car. I think you checked with police. Is there anything else we need to do? No, sir, you can go. And so we were finished running there. And that night you picked me up for a softball game. Fast forward about 4 or 5 hours later. And you pull up into my driveway driving the most beautiful Ford F-150 crew cab with leather and moonroof. And at the time in the early 2000s, every feature you could possibly get on that thing. And I remember being so proud of you. But this whole, this whole literal, like, I'm going to drive it till it burns in the ground. The cliche everybody says, you literally drove it till it burned to the ground.
She burned down, man. That's a really funny story, man. Thanks for sharing I've shared that a few times. Mine's a little different version because I only see it from my perspective, but I'm driving in the fast lane going about 80 because that's what I was doing, driving up my loan documents. I don't remember you being up there that morning. And all of a sudden, my car's starting to die. I'm like, oh, something's going on. So I get over to the right. I pull over, smoking. All of a sudden, I'm trying to call my wife. She's not picking up. Well, let me call Matt. Yeah, I'm just,
driving back.
Highway 99, come through Woodburn. And so a guy comes up to my car real quick. All of a sudden, the paint's peeling off my hood. And the guy's like, pop the hood. I go, we're not going to do that because that's going to kill somebody. So I literally got out, got my loan files, got my golf clubs, and let it burn on the freeway. I don't remember the freeway stopping because I'm caught up.
Oh, it was all 3 lanes.
Yeah,
dead
well,
stop.
cool. There you go. I got to stop the freeway, so that is a funny story. That car, by the way, when I bought it, it really was actually a nice car.
Oh, yeah.
It was like an 88 Honda Accord.
Yeah.
It's got tinted windows. And yeah, I was going to drive till the wheels fell off. But, they did. They got burned up.
That exact spot where I came and got you,
Yeah.
where your car burned to the ground. When I was 18 years old, I witnessed a car accident where a guy had gone through the median and hit another car straight on. And God used me to rescue a mom and 2 girls from one of the cars. Right,
No kidding.
almost at that exact same spot. Yeah,
Interesting.
18 years old.
Interesting.
Fun
Well,
life.
Matt, we're going to sign off, man.
Buddy, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for
I hope
coming
this
on.
was of value, man. And
it was-
I love spending time with
It was
you.
good to reflect. Let's grab coffee and hang out, man. I'm serious. Like, I know we talk
I
about
miss
it.
you so much.
I know we talk about it. We just need to do it. So, well, thanks for being here this week. We appreciate you, and hope you get some laughs out of this podcast. If you have some thoughts, comments, just comment below. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week. Thanks so much. See you, Matt.